Fibbity bobbity boop! Hello, my name's Fox, and today I'm in Fox, and welcome to the Starwars the Force to Be Evil theories. This time on Eclipse and Festivia. I'm not sure if this one would be considered a crackpot theory, since I only usually do those for those I barely have, anything to back me up on. But, this one I might actually have a little bit more to back me up on this a little bit. So basically, if you haven't seen the newest episode, I'd say go watch it. That wasn't my favorite, but I'd say go watch it. But basically, we find out a couple things. One being that Eclipse, we of course know Meteora is Eclipse's daughter, aka Heinous, but that Festivia is said to be Eclipse's daughter, and was based on the one who continued the bloodline, I'd assume, unless Eclipse is actually not Star's grandma or great-great-great-grandma, but actually is someone else. Is actually like her aunt or something, but I don't know. And that looks like Trigon. But yeah, so basically we find out that Festivia, for whatever reason, had taken the throne, and as well as not only on top of that, Festivia has also been shown to, was also apparently, I believe, the grandma of, if this is all in order, which it kind of seems like it, since Festivia is the next queen, if they're all going in order, is most likely Skywind, aka Moon's mom's mom, basically. Also, there's a star and everything. There's something with these pictures I gotta try next time. Basically, the whole thing is that there's apparently some kind of cover-up that that happened way back when, whenever this happened. I'm not sure how long queens are supposed to live, or how old they're supposed to be, since, again, Eclipse has apparently been locked away for thousands of years, and she's been and there's only been 3 generations. That must mean that these guys can live for at least over 500, if not 500 years, if not 1,000, and maybe longer. But basically, we the whole idea is that Festivia, there's a cover-up going on, but we don't know the reason why. And I think I kind of can figure out probably what the case is, at least from a couple clues that are given in this thing, where of course we know Eclipse has been locked away, but we don't know the exact reason. And oh my gosh, is it just a coincidence that we also lost Heinous was actually a part of the Butterfly family? Or again, where the fudge did Festivia come from if Eclipse didn't even know her and she was technically her heir? So the whole, and also how Festivia would also be able to transfer the bloodline of the butterflies, or at least, have the or be able to transfer at least the cheek marks to those, down her line, and be able to then use the wand. Assuming that the wand does need cheek marks to activate. And so there is just, the whole question of what the fudge. But I think I can kind of figure out what happened. Kind of, and it kind of explains, Eclipse's whole thing. Because again, I kind of freaking think that Eclipse is probably the one who edited the whole Festivia into the actual records of the entire royal family, because of what's to come. But basically, we know a couple things. One, Eclipse had relations with a demon, and that then created Meteora. And we also know that right under here is, when the threat of monsters are at the gate and has darkened out the sun, let the kingdom find some peace and joy in Festivia the fun. That's what's right underneath her picture, which, at least to me, like, you could take that as, oh, well, monsters at the gates, just monsters at the gates. There's always monsters. Munis don't like the monsters, so when they're at, it's not something uncommon. Unless they're talking about, possibly whatever that freaking mural was in Heinous' School for Wayward Princesses. Which, mind you, she apparently doesn't remember her past until recently. Maybe she made that, without thinking about it, or maybe that place is actually built on top of a monster temple. But basically, my theory is that there was some kind of ginormous monster/demon war going on against Muni. Possibly, it's probably what where Toffee originally came from and would actually add a little bit more backstory and everything. Because again, even Toffee, was anyone else felt underwhelmed a bit when Toffee's just like, yeah, I'm just the leader of these monsters and Moon just kind of beat me. It's just kind of underwhelming, to say the least. And again, there is the whole thing that Toffee actually has two skulls on his freaking wrists on his shoulders, which one of them actually is, if I can look, one of them actually is a diamond. And since we know that in my last theory about this one, I actually brought that up, but no one really said that. They just said, you were right, Toffee killed Moon's mom. I'm like, okay, great. Don't look at the rest of the video. But basically, that could be Festivia's skull now on his shoulders. And also, it's more like a twinkly diamond than just a diamond, but who knows how this is going to work. Who knows how it's going to play out. But basically, my idea is, again, there was a monster war that happened, and for whatever reason, it was struck from history. Mostly probably because the person who ended the war and eventually became queen is not actually nobility, or wasn't nobility beforehand. How I'm guessing is basically that on this 2-spread page right here, is that, of course, Eclipsa was the bad guy of this story. She was the one who made it with a demon, probably made some kind of deal, summoned demons and dragons and all the stuff that is going to freaking kill Muni. And Festivia was the one who probably ended it all, being someone who actually probably wasn't royalty or whatnot, wasn't any kind of royalty, but for whatever reason, probably Glosswork or someone gave her magic and allowed her to gain the cheek marks, which allowed her to possibly channel magic. Mind you, I am again speculating on the whole cheek thing, but we do know people with high magic concentration, at least from Muni's side, gain these cheek marks. Actually, people with high concentration of magic, because, spoilers again, Marco has cheek marks, and brings to another point of my theory, being that you technically don't need to be Muni and or, royalty to gain these abilities. Though people have speculated and said that, like, oh, the reason why Marco has cheek marks that are the shape of moons are because that he's actually, because of his connection with Star, and that's what allows him to channel the magic wand. I don't feel like that's the case, because we've yet to get that confirmed. If we have gotten that confirmed, okay, I'm totally wrong. Well, I'm totally wrong on that bit, not the rest of this video, but I'm wrong on that bit. But if that is wrong, and Marco actually has the ability without really being tied to Star, that then shows that, yeah, you don't need to be royalty and or Mumin to then gain these abilities. They gain the power to control the wand and, to form your own wand. So that then would leave that, yeah, something like this could happen. Which, another thing people could say is, well, the book only writes about the royal family. Well, yeah, they then are made the royal family, Festivia's bloodline of butterflies, because, that's kind of how bloodlines work sometimes. That's kind of how things like that work. Mind you, I know, if you marry into a bloodline, you technically, like a king or queen, if you marry into them, you are still technically called a prince or a princess or something, if the other person with the actual royal blood, because your blood actually isn't royal, and, your child will gain royal blood. But in a lot of media, basically all you need to do is marry into it, and then you're king, even if the queen who has actual royal blood dies. Or if you just go into the idea of king and queens, they're just really, I pick you. Even though they do say the whole thing that, kings and queens are supposed to be born of gods. But yeah, so basically my whole idea is that Festivia most likely was someone who was nobody, but somehow gained the powers of her wand, gained the wand and magic, and were then able to then, become the next queen. And the whole reason for a cover-up is a couple things. One being that, they wanted to probably cover up the whole demon offspring thing, and probably some kind of evil prophecy that says the demons are coming back, which I'll read that a little bit. As well as, saying well, she's not the rightful heir, she's actually the evil, she's actually taking the throne, she's not royal blood. which is something that could happen because, you know, again, she is technically not of royal blood. So, basically we're going whole Game of Thrones on this. Basically being that Festivia, those who sympathize, who have Eclipse sympathizers, or in the other sense, are people who believe that, no, Eclipso was queen and we should follow that, or the bloodline, we have to only follow the bloodline. This would stop both of those and basically say, no, Festivia is Eclipse's daughter, therefore Festivia is the queen. Boom. Done. Instead of, you know, again, bad things, they usurp the throne and she's not the rightful queen. So that way it cuts that, which also, again, there are some things like, what is it, Star and Eclipse having kind of similar personalities in a little bit, which they could kind of be trying to hint that they are actually related, or say that they are actually related, but there is still a question of a couple things. Also, I just noticed Eclipse has a moon on her chest, which Marco also has moons on his cheek, so. But, again, there's that whole little tidbit. Also, I just noticed that, I think out of these two, I think Eclipse and, Festivia are actually the only two who don't have, or two who have, like, a border around their thing, so that might actually symbolize something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But yeah, basically, again, most likely there was some kind of demon thing. And again, why would Eclipse re-edit the documents? Well, because there's probably something that has to do with her little girl. Because even when we go down into the monster dungeon, you see at one point, or the monster temple, we see on the wall there is, of course, the 4 symbols, the card symbols, which I love things I always tie back to stuff like that. Playing card symbols. But as well as, at one point, you see a demon, like a demon or something, a creature being fought by humanoid figures, which are most likely humans. And also, so you see that there is something that they're kind of hinting at or trying to cover up. And again, of course, we have the whole, like, Steven Universe Diamonds mural up above, where we have, mind you, I do love that idea because that always, and also Adventure Time has done a similar fashion as that as well. But the whole mural thing is always a cool indicator of, like, okay, there is something bigger going on, and this is definitely going to tie into it later. So there is the whole question of what the fudge is going on there. Actually, do they even show Heinus's School for Wayward Princesses in here? But basically, yeah, that's my idea so far. And again, there's most likely de-documented, because if that place documents everything, if it documents that, Heinus will eventually become, that Heinus was born on this day or whatnot, or Meteora technically, and she was then given the not curse, but said to be the one who would bring down Muni, or be the rightful heir of Muni, but then of course it looks like a monster. So they're like, no, we can't let that happen. And so, or again, Eclipse has started a demon war with Muni, and Festivia had to be the one who stopped it because she was the only one who could wield the magic wand to stop it. I don't know this, and maybe she, was able to wrestle the wand away from Eclipse, because again, wouldn't be the first person who doesn't have human blood or royal blood who could wield the wand. Heck, not even the first person to wield the wand outside of someone with cheek marks, since the lobster guy was able to wield it, as well as Ludo was able to wield half the wand. So yeah, it's not that far out of place that, again, we could see that happen again, but it was back then when they had to rewrite the royal bloodline. I don't know. This is a quick theory I wanted to throw out there. Again, something I say about every episode, I think. But just a quick theory I want to throw out there. It's kind of cool. It's kind of a cool thing, I thought. There might be more definitely coming, and also like I'm hoping Eclipse and Marco are gonna Eclipse. I hope at least at the end of this season, it would be the big final event or something till the actual stuff that's gonna happen in season 4. I feel, or maybe it's the mid-season finale. I want to see Marco go dark and join Eclipse, and maybe Eclipse teaches him how to wield the wand. Maybe she can't wield the wand anymore, but Marco can for whatever reason. Maybe the connection with Star, who knows? But yeah, I want to see what's gonna happen. And again, like, I don't feel like, oh, Festivia is the evil one. Which again, also this then means that both Moon and Star are not actually blood relation to Eclipsa, as well as being that they are not actually quote unquote royalty. And this could even strain things even further. We could actually probably see Eclipsa take over the Kingdom of Muni at end of this season, or maybe season 4. We could actually see Eclipsa take over Muni again, and maybe let monsters reign or something, because she is out of actual blood. And we can, again, see a whole Game of Thrones kind of shtick going on of who should really be the queen or queen of this land. And again, I want to see Marco join Eclipsa. But tell me what you guys in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you watch videos that I've done, links are on my face, videos are on there somewhere. I want to see what the heck is going on, see what's going to happen next. I'm happy that Starwars is coming back. But yeah. But thank you for watching. See you on the videos, and we will see you later. And a kiss, video kiss of Thyricus.